Hi guys, I'm Chris the Ultimate Recycler. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to my emergency storage shed where we get something out of here every week. Going to cut my introduction short because a lot of people drop off in the first 30 seconds and you should hang around, so don't go anywhere. We've got to get something out of this shed and there's some boxes behind me that I don't know what's in them. Let's go and have a look. I've been working on this shed for, what, 3 years? 3.5 years? Something out of here every week. We've still got a fair bit to go. We're finding some amazing stuff and hope you can hang around and find it interesting. We got a box off the top of there last week that was full of vintage china, English, teapots, all sorts of stuff. Surprisingly good value actually. And now we've got this one. I don't know what's in that. We'll take that through to the bench right now. We've got 2 timber bowls, that will be easy. And I've got some boxes here which I've put stuff aside. My old hometown Murtoa history and family history, and some stuff I've put aside that relate to my current town, Nagambie. We might as well have a look in them, but I won't be selling that stuff. It may well end up in the local museum. Quick pan down the next shelf. That's an old advertising clock. I think it's Champion spark plugs. We'll have to probably restore that one. 1920s radio, some brackets, another old, well, it's not so old, it's a retro flip clock, but it's an industrial one, maybe from a school or railway station or something. Don't know what's in that. It just gets more and more interesting. Let's take this box through to the bench now. Okay, this box actually isn't going to be sold either. I'll show you what it is. We will open it and have a quick look, but that will be staying with the family. I'll go and grab the other 2 boxes. And these wooden bowls, at least we'll have something to sell from this week. Now, the idea too is that I've got to clear all this stuff out. I want to turn that shed into a workshop, and it was built to move a lot of stuff from my old shop where we had to move out quickly. That's where it's got put, and I'm just going through it consistently, one bite at a time, just like eating that elephant. Okay, this box says Shelley tea set for girls from Nan Anders, which is mum. And I've got 3 daughters. This was a Shelley tea set that mum had years ago. I think it may have been, if I remember rightly, a 21st birthday present for mum. We'll open it and have a quick look. I think it's quite a nice pattern. And then we'll go through these ones and just check out what's in here. Probably nothing really to sell this week except for those timber bowls, which this one's kind of like that monkey pod wood, probably 60s or 70s era. It's actually in good condition. No splits, no warps. Make a nice fruit bowl. We might get 15 for that. And the other one's probably a similar era. It looks like it's been made out of pieces. It's probably got a name. I'm not sure what you would call that, where they piece bits together and then it would have been glued as a block and then probably machined on a lathe. So maybe 10, maybe 15. We might try 15 on each. They do need a bit of a clean up. But that's okay. If we get $30 back, that's better than nothing. All right, I'll adjust the camera. We'll have a look at this stuff. So this has been boxed up for quite a few years. It hasn't come from the farm clean out we've done fairly recently. And I can't really give it to my girls at the moment. One of them's overseas travelling. The other has a young family and busy life, and the oldest is also very busy life business-wise as well. So they don't really have a stable household to keep delicate china in, but it's something I think they would like to get down the track. Let's see what pattern it is. So I guess I'm the caretaker for a while, and that's perfectly fine. Oh, there we go. Very nice Shelley china. So I'm guessing it dates to the 50s, perhaps, if it was new when Mum got it. Maybe 60s, probably early 60s. Still got the plates. I think they'd be just as decorative. Yeah, that's very nice pattern. It's a crochet pattern by the looks of that. I'll check it out on eBay, but it's probably worth, I would be thinking, well, let's see if we can find a saucer. Okay, there's a saucer. So we have a side plate, a saucer, and a teacup. There'll be 6 of these. I think the set's complete. I do remember the sugar bowl went mysteriously missing and Mum suspects someone broke it and didn't say anything. I did manage to find another replacement sugar bowl which will be in here somewhere on eBay years ago. So there'll be 6 trios, a sugar bowl and a milk jug. I don't think there's a teapot. But a trio like that, that's called a trio. I would probably sell for around about $40 to $50. I would have to check the pattern. Maybe they don't bring that nowadays. Probably 30 or 40 years ago, that might have made $80 or $100. English China has dropped a lot in value, but that's very nice. So I'll wrap this back up, I'll put it back in the box, and I'll put it away for the girls. I'm not sure which daughter will eventually get it, but we'll pack that up and keep it safe for now. Now let's get a look into these tubs. This is the Nagambie one. Nagambie is the small country town that I live in. Some of you guys are locals and keep an eye on what I'm doing, and you may well be very interested in the history in this box. Many of you are from a long way away, other side of the world, different countries, and Nagambie won't mean anything to you other than maybe what you've heard on my channel. We're about an hour north of Melbourne, a little bit over an hour north of Melbourne, rural area, and I don't know what the population is at the moment around here, but it's a small town. Here's a nice Bakelite ashtray. It's a mottled green, really nice shape, bit Art Deco. And I've kept it in here because it says around the side, and you won't be able to read this on camera, I don't think. It says, with compliments from Ralston's Garage, Nagambie. And when I first moved to town, the old garage was still in the main street. It's since been demolished and a new complex is built there. And it was a garage in the town for decades, and many locals will well remember the Ralston name. And yeah, that's a souvenir from their workshop. But that's a beautiful Bakelite ashtray, really nice. All right, so we have a lot of advertising memorabilia here, and this should go to the local museum. It'll stay in my museum for now, my little collection of Nagambie stuff, but eventually I'll probably pass it on to the local museum. Just a little key wallet, leather key wallet, and that says Verge Motors, Nagambie, phone 21, and it's a bit hard to read. It's just pressed into the leather. I think it says new and used cars, GMH dealers. So General Motors Holden dealers. Here we have a chemist, Hiddlestone, who was a chemist in Nagambie. Oh, I think probably back in the 70s. I'm not totally sure of the dates. Telephone 9. Kodak supplies, veterinary medicines. And this is a little notepad shopping list. Oh, here we go. 1964 calendar. So a great little advertising piece from a Nagambie chemist. Here's a little vinyl wallet, Your Family Chemist, Hiddlestone, phone 9. Not sure what that was for. Oh, protection of your hospital and medical contribution books. Oh, I'm not sure what a contribution book is. Maybe you donated. A ready reckoner here for when decimal currency came in and we went from pennies and pounds and shillings to cents and dollars, and that was 1966 in Australia. And this says Susan Salon, which was a hairdresser's, phone Nagambie 10. There we go, that's one number after the last one. And there we go, it's got a picture of our new coins in 1966. The round 50-cent piece there, it was only produced in 1966. They withdrew it from currency very quickly because it contained 50% silver, and that very quickly became more valuable as scrap silver than 50 cents. Nowadays, I think they're worth about $30. So they were only produced in 1966. Here's a great little brochure here. Join us in a trip around Nagambie, Victoria. It looks like that's a Buick or something on the front. Don't know my old cars that well. And it's fold-out postcards. Well, they're not postcards, they're really just photos. Lake Nagambie, High Street Nagambie, Goulburn Weir, some scenes around the lake, and the main street. Again, this is back in the day where not so many people carried cameras, so rather than take your own photos, you just bought some. Probably 1950s by the look of the car. And there you go. And you could post it. Okay, so it was a postable souvenir. Just a compliments card from the Shire of Goulburn. The Shire of Goulburn no longer exists. It became the Shire of Strathbogie. I think that was in the 1990s sometime. Some honey labels. Pure extracted honey. Arthur Coe Nagambie. And I think Coe's farm was just north of the town. A St Andrew's Presbyterian Church centenary back in 1972. An address book here, Souvenir of Nagambie, and that's the Weir, which is about 10 k's out the road, about 6 mile on the Goulburn River, and that was built in the 1890s or around about 1890. So, and that's just a address book, unused, and it's just really got a picture on the front, souvenir of Nagambie. A chemist label from Mr. R. Hiddlestone again. He obviously had a branch in Murchison, which is a nearby town, and that was off, probably a label off a cough medicine bottle or something. An early photo, it's a postcard, okay. It's dated 1908, and that's a bridge across the Goulburn. We'll try not to get reflection here. It's a rail bridge across the Goulburn River, and I'm not sure where it was. Oh, Waring, which is a settlement just north of town, actually not far from where the weir is. And I think that rail bridge was for firewood, and we're talking, yeah, over 100 years ago. All right, lots of things in here, isn't there? A pencil, a large souvenir pencil, Ralston's Centenary Motor Garage. They were phone number 23. Something else from the chemist. This is a later chemist, and it's just got the sticker on it that says P.F. Stevens, Chemist, Nagambie. Telephone 9, so he kept the same telephone number. 25 cents, so we're probably into the 1970s with those tablets, and I think it's still full. There's a stamp here, and I don't remember what that says. Oh, that says, that's a Nagambie name. I think this guy was a builder. And yeah, it's obviously no ink on it. I don't have an ink pad. It was a certain name, and it was, I think it says Carpenter Nagambie. A patch here, Nagambie Angling Club. Another unused soap, Seidel soap, and again that's Paul Stevens, Chemist. Strepsils tin, and again the chemist there, and I think that's empty. Yeah, that one's empty. No Strepsils left in that one. We have some souvenir spoons. These were kind of big in the late 70s, early 80s, maybe a little bit earlier when they're used as trophies. That looks like a bowling trophy, but it's got a backdrop of the lake, because Nagambie has a lake right in the centre of town, which is part of the Goulburn River. Same there, so Nagambie Bowling Club. This one here, I think it's just a souvenir spoon rather than a trophy. And this one possibly the same. Oh, that's Centenary, Nagambie Centenary, 1871 to 1971. So that was a 70s era spoon made by Stokes. The big Melbourne company, Stokes, they made a lot of medallions and everything else. Right, we've got a bit of stuff wrapped up in here too. We have some postcards. A set of 6 postcards from Nagambie. And these are unused. So we have a church. We have a scene on the Goulburn River. I'm not sure how we're going with reflection here. Hopefully I'm not blinding you. Another church. Oh, there's another card under here. Oh, there's the weir again, the Goulburn weir. And I think it even featured on a stamp, if I remember correctly. Or maybe some money, maybe a note, an old pound note. There's the Nagambie Primary School, which has changed a lot since then, but it is still there. All right, we probably have some more postcards in this one. These have been used. So there we have a scene on the lake, not quite so glossy this time. And a bridge, that's a black and white real photo. It's a bit damaged, that one. Another church shot, the Presbyterian Church, and a very small one of the weir. That looks like a pretty old one. Is there a date on there? There's not. Oh, it's probably 06, February 1906. So that's pretty early. The weir would have only been about 16, 17 years old then. All right, a little badge here, Nagambie Angling Club. And a few things wrapped up. So I guess these are breakables, possibly China. Oh, this is glass. It's an ashtray from Verge Motors, which had a big workshop down the main street well before I moved to town, so I'm not sure when that got finished up. But that was phone Nagambie 21 and 274. Oh, maybe that was a Shepparton number. Oh no, Shepparton number was 9268. Interesting. This one is China, and it's a souvenir, High Street looking north, Nagambie. And that big building used to be a bank. It's actually still here. There's a antique shop in the bottom, and the guy who owns it's a real estate agent as well. This building here was the original State Bank, I think, of Victoria, and that's gone. And some other shops. A lot of the early shops are still here. Now this is probably English made, or some of it was Czechoslovakia. No, this one's English. They did a lot of souvenirs of lots of small towns on this sort of crockery, and most of it was English made. All right, what have we got in here? Feels like maybe a teacup. Yep, more souvenir ware, and that's the same photo showing the large old bank and the other bank, which was quite an old one, but that's a very imposing building, that one. And as I said, it's still there in great condition. That scene may have been used on a few different pieces of crockery, perhaps. Yeah, exactly the same photo again. In fact, that saucer is probably ideal for the teacup. I'm not sure if the museum actually has these ones. These are just ones I've collected from house lots over more than 2 decades of cleaning up. And anything local I've saved. Here we have a different picture, seen at the lake, Nagambie. Unfortunately, it's cracked. Not in the best condition. This is English made as well, but it's another souvenir item from town featuring the lake. One more wrapped item. It's quite heavy, this one. This is a mug, much more recent. G&D Hair Studio, High Street, Nagambie. And that's a more recent phone number, but I think that was still before I came to town, so maybe in the 1990s. But still, it's part of the town's history, even though it's not that old. We do have a little matchbook here. Nagambie Lakeside General Store and Cafe, opposite the water tower. Now, I think the building that this was in is now also gone. Still got most of the matches in there. Under new management, clean, fresh and friendly. And that's the older phone number when it had a 3-digit area code. So yeah, that would be, I'd say back in the 70s, maybe 80s. A badge here, Chinaman's Bridge. That's out near the caravan park where my girls had the cafe for a while. The caravan park's quite a huge one. It's Discovery Park, so it holds a lot of people out there. And water skiing is a feature of the area. There's a lot of skiing done on the river and also rowing on the lake. I think they have certain areas where they are allowed to do it, and that's a smaller badge. Quite modern, those two. So that's all my Nagambie stuff. I better pack it away and we'll have a look at the other box. Okay, let's look in the other one, which relates to my hometown. And I'm not actually sure what's in this one. And there is some Anders history, which is my family name, that I've found over the years. And a branch of the family had a foundry in South Australia, E. Anders and Sons. They were in Freeling and Gawler, and they made a lot of agricultural stuff. And that's a very good condition catalogue. They also obviously, oh yes, Anders grips were well known on tractors. They were steel paddles that bolted to the actual hub of the wheel and allowed you to operate tractors in wet, boggy conditions when you just had the rubber tyres that didn't get the grip. And they're well known, and yeah, they came from a branch of the family that stayed in South Australia. The branch of my family came across into the Wimmera in Western Victoria and had been farming there until we sold the farm relatively recently. There's a receipt from E. Anders and Sons Agricultural Engineers, Iron and Brass Founders, and I have got a large water trough made by them. If I can find a picture, I'll put that one up. So that's just a receipt. There's a pen just from Murtoa, Wimmera Lakeside Town, just a gift pen, probably back to the 70s, maybe 80s, that one. Victorian Bitter. Oh, that's just a scorecard. It's just got Commercial Hotel Murtoa stamped on it. Bowls scorecard, but yeah, not really relating to town other than a stamp on it. Now we have a early photo here, which is the branch that had the agricultural machinery place, and that's a plough obviously they've made and they're advertised it. I don't know where that came from. Then there's a recipes book here from the ladies of Murtoa and District, compiled by local association of Girl Guides and Brownies. And some of the recipes in these old books are just amazing. You don't find them like that on the internet. And they're all credited to whoever posted them in. So there may even be some recipes from my family in here. I'm not too sure. I do recognise a lot of the surnames. Okay, we have a little matchbox holder. These are quite collectible, and I know people collect these from all around the place. This one's a specific Murtoa one, and it was Chaz Williams' garage and service station, and he sold Ford V8s. Very nice. And here was Murtoa phone 33, which interestingly I thought was the phone number of the grocery store in Murtoa that my dad actually managed for a while. I must ask Mum about that. I thought that phone number was 33. Right, what do we got wrapped up here? There's only a few things in this box, so it won't be as long as the other one. And this is a trophy. Murtoa Bowling Club Pairs Championships, I think 1961. It's a bit hard to read, I'd have to polish it. So there's an old bowling trophy. I don't really want to keep a lot of old trophies, but that's probably a nicer one to keep. What's this, an ashtray maybe? Most towns had souvenir ashtrays. Oh, just a little glass pin dish. And it's the swimming pool at Murtoa. That's kind of early-ish, like 1930s maybe, I'm thinking. The swimming pool looks like it's basically the edge of a lake. Murtoa does have a lake as well, but it doesn't have a river like Nagambie does. It's just a naturally filled lake. Or I think it's on the channel. Well, it used to be on the channel system, the irrigation channel system, but I don't think it is anymore. Well, here we go. Some studio pottery featuring Murtoa and a creature of some sort. I don't know. It looks like a kid's drawing of a dinosaur with a kangaroo's head. I'm not sure. Make up your own mind. There's no name on the back of it. Could have been a local potter over there. I'm not too sure. This one's very heavy. I'm going to guess an ashtray for this one. Although in essence, anything can be an ashtray, can't it? Oh, it is too. Oh, this is a nice piece. Now this came from the branch of the family that had the implement works in Freeling and Gawler. So it's a cast iron ashtray. It would have been made by them as a promotional item. It has some plough shears and a wheel embossed on the base of it. I think that would be quite a rare piece. So I don't remember where I got that. I might have even picked it up off eBay, way back in eBay's earliest days. Very happy with that one. It's a nice one. Now none of this will be for sale. It may well end up in the Murtoa Museum down the track. Here we have some china, just a little souvenir plate, much the same as Nagambie had. A lot of the towns had these. This is the memorial gates at Murtoa. And I have dug up in some old rubbish tips when looking for bottles. I've dug up fragments of these. I think I dug a jug once that was quite badly damaged, but it had the same picture on it. And again, it's probably English. Yes, that one's English as well. So a nice little dish there. And that's all. That's all we have here. I do have some other souvenir stuff. I know I've got some more Nagambie stuff at the shop. We'll find that at some stage when we're unboxing. There's probably some more Murtoa stuff as well. I'll just keep these for now. I might set them up in a cabinet one day when I'm more organised, but at the moment they're just going to stay here in storage. And that's another episode finished from the emergency storage shed. We have got some stuff out of here, and even though I'm keeping these couple of boxes, I will probably take them inside in the house or somewhere. They don't need to stay out in the shed. And that's a bit of a keepsake thing for me. I enjoyed going through it. I hope you found it remotely interesting. We do get 2 wooden bowls to sell, so at least there's something that's going to the shop, potentially about $30 back. So not much return this week, but we are achieving our goals of emptying that place. There is that big wooden box out there, remember, that these were sitting on, which is pretty much going to go straight to the shop. I'll add that into next week's episode, but that will create quite a bit of space with that going. Then we'll have a look at that Champions advertising clock. That could be quite interesting. Catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.